Welcome to another episode of Unscripted with Marilyn Morales. Today, my guest is someone that I met not that long ago. I think less than a year ago, almost a year ago. I was impressed by him. There were so many people who told me, Marilyn, you got to get connected to this guy. His story is like yours. He will help you get to the next level. And I ended up buying his book, reading his book, and felt so connected to him that I had to reach out, and the rest is history. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when I have him on here. His name is Jesse Cruz. Jesse Cruz is the CEO of Merge Worldwide. He is a speaker coach, professional speaker, and event planner. He enjoys traveling with his wife and children. Jesse hosts transformational events for entrepreneurs all over the world. Let's welcome Jesse to the show. Hello, my friend.
Hey, Marilyn.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. And for some of my viewers who know my family, everybody says you look like my brother. So every time we're in a picture together, it's like, is that your brother? No, but I will tell you that spiritually, you feel like a brother. So
Amen.
we were connected, right? A little bit less than a year ago when I was told about you and that I needed to meet you. And I bought your book and your story. You have a very similar story to mine. And we connected, we talked. And I knew that with writing a book and everything that I wanted to do in my life, I needed to speak on a stage. And I had never done that, right? I needed to start speaking about it. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. So I said, Jesse, help me. And Jesse Cruz then became my speaking coach. And funny story is, while you were away in Italy on vacation with your family, I unfortunately caught COVID and was made to stay in my room all by myself because the rest of my family was fine, thank God. But I got myself into some trouble, right? I had signed myself up for this speaking event and hearing your voice. I remember I told you, I said, I heard your voice in my head saying, just try, just go, just do it. You just got to do it. Just try it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I think Jesse will be proud of me. And then once I did it, I was like, oh, damn, it's like 2 weeks away. I don't know how I'm going to get ready for this event. Right. And I said, I texted you and said, hey, you got 2 weeks to get me ready. I just did A, B, and C. And you were like, calm and said, I'm going to get you ready. And you did. Right. Talk a little bit about that. Our first meeting. How was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I go back to that moment of you just I'll just touch on what you just shared of getting ready. I think that people think too much about all the steps that they gotta take for something to happen. And it's good to have a process. But once you have a coach and you have a system and you have the accountability, it can take a lot of that burden off, right? And so it's like it's finding amazing people to partner with and that they can be there as a support to you to reach your goal, right? And so that's why I love of your mission, Marilyn. What you get to do is like you have a mission in mind, and then you get to partner with other people to make the mission become a reality. And that's what it's all about. I think life is about relationships and forming partnerships that are meaningful.
Right. And I will tell you, the people out there who are thinking of doing stuff like this, you need a coach because what I was doing to myself, all the scenarios that I was putting in my own head of how things were going to be and how they should be, I was just stressing myself out. And you were able to calmly tell me the steps that I needed to take in order to get myself organized, how to do it, bring me out of my comfort zone calmly. And I tell you that my brother, who they say you're like, is exactly like that too. He was that person in my life who was able to keep me calm when things were going crazy. He has that same ability. And maybe that's what, drew me to you as well, is that familiar feeling, so that you were able to break things down for me. So 100%, if you're looking for a coach, this man is it. Now share with my viewers though, a time in your life where you knew that life was changing for you and the steps that you took to navigate that episode in your life.
It's when I knew I was called to share my story. I knew that, I invested in a coach, invested several thousands of dollars. This coach taught me so much. I learned so much from him, and he was going to help me share my story. And through that process, I was so excited because how much it was changing my life for the better. And I knew that my dream of sharing my story was about to happen. And then I got into a financial bind where I could no longer keep paying him. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to quit on my dream. And I got to tell him. But before I do that, I got to go home and tell my wife. So I sat Desiree down and I said, hey, you know how sharing my story is my dream? She's like, yeah. And I said, you know how we've invested thousands of dollars for this to happen? She's like, yeah. I said, well, in our bank account right now, we can't go to the gas station, can't go to the grocery store. We have literally $0. We're dead broke. And I saw her whole face change because we were broke and it was my fault. I put us into this position. And then I said, you know what? I'm sorry, but today I'm going to quit on my dream. I can't do this anymore. And I felt two things in that moment. First thing I felt was complete shame for the pain that I knew I was causing my wife and the stress that I was putting her under from our financial situation. And the other thing I felt was hypocrisy because I've always told my wife and my kids always go for your dream and never give up on them. And in that moment, I gave up on mine completely. And I just dropped my head and I started crying. And as I dropped my head and started crying, she just sat there. She didn't say nothing. I think she was just in too much shock to speak. And then after a moment of what felt like an eternity, she breaks her silence and goes, you know what, Jesse? I'm not going to let you give up on your dream. If we got to get another job, if we got to cut spending somewhere else, we're going to do whatever it takes to make your dream come true. We found a way to get the money, found a way to make it happen. Now I got the honor and privilege to coach speakers all over the planet on how to get their message out and create a life that they want with their families, right? So they don't have to have the struggle of the financial burden, right? And to coach them
Right.
on having that confidence, having those connections, having that cash flow through sharing their story on a stage. But it all comes to a decision that people need to make. Is like, I believe when you get in the right room with the right people, the right opportunities can happen and just removing all excuses. So when I got up from that dining room table, we found a way to make it work, made it happen. And that's how the business was born because it was a refusal to allow the insecurities, the excuses, all these things that were trying to hold me back from my dream. My wife and I had to come to an agreement, like, we're not going to let anything stop us from getting to where we want to go. So to me, it's like all about making that commitment to create the life that you want. Even when you feel like it's not going to happen and there's a million reasons to give up and quit, it's just
Right.
finding one reason to keep going.
Right. Amen. Amen. I have to say, this is not for the faint-hearted, right? Entrepreneurship and doing things like this. It's hard. People on the outside that don't go down that road don't view it as difficult. It doesn't look difficult, but it is very, very hard. And just finding ways and that's just not just with what you experience, but in life, right? Where you just got to figure it out. You just got to figure it out. So amazing. Thank you for sharing that because that was very vulnerable of you to share that moment in your life. Now, share with me, the book came first or speaking? You talk about sharing your story and you use many ways to share your story. Which one came first?
The book came first because that was literally the only, I felt like it might have been one of the only things that kept me alive because I was in such a dark place
Mm.
so long that writing was the only thing that really helped me cope, it helped me heal, and it helped me get through a traumatic situation. And so the sharing your story process started with writing it down on paper. And once I saw what it did for me personally, I was like, you know what? Since it's helped me so much, I want to be able to put this all together and provide a book for people to be encouraged to help them share their story. And so that's where the storytelling began.
So you started by journaling throughout the process or after?
During the entire process, my daughter was in the hospital, and I would write every single day, and that was the only thing that kept me going.
So for some people who may not never have seen you or don't know your story, can you share a little bit about your story in your book?
Yeah, yeah. My wife and I, we were praying for a child for years, and it wasn't happening. And then finally, We were blessed with a baby girl. Her name was Faith. She was born prematurely, so she was 4 months early. She was only 1 pound and could literally fit in the palm of my hand. And every single day in the hospital, we would watch her fight for her life every single day. And then 42 days of her fighting for her life, she passed away. And we left the hospital, obviously completely brokenhearted beyond any words that I can communicate to anybody.
Right.
And she changed my life. Like this little 1 pound girl that no one's ever met before is impacting lives all over the planet because she fought so hard. She didn't give up. She didn't quit. And I tell people, like, if this little 1 pound girl can make this much of an impact, just imagine what we as full grown adults can do when we keep fighting. We don't give up and we tell the story no matter what happens. And to me, it's like a testament to her legacy is to keep her name alive and help inspire other people to do the same.
That's right. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and that's something that we share in common, right? Is that we want to bring forward our daughter's legacies. And with Isabella, her fight for that entire year, being diagnosed with cancer and then losing her a year later, but the fight that she had for that entire year and how happy she was. Um, and I wanted to make sure that people understood the importance of the life. So no matter how 45 days, 1 year, 100 years, a life needs to be honored in every single stage. And all we want to do is leave behind that legacy, right? And as tell me what is the power of a speaker who shares a story?
I think storytellers are going to be the most influential people on the planet for the simple fact that what connects us all is our stories. Even though we have different backgrounds, educations, family history, and different opportunities, and all these different differences that we have amongst us, it's typically once you share a story, people grab a hold to a certain part of your story. Now, like not everybody can relate to losing a child like you and I, Marilyn. Just they
Hmm.
haven't. Not everyone has experienced that. However, when we share our stories with passion and with purpose, people can identify with pain, even if their pain is a little different than our pain. And that's why I think the storyteller, the person on the stage speaking, is so impactful and so transformational is because we're able to take parts of our lives that have been challenging and then connect it to the hearts of other people who are going through a similar struggle. And people become forever bonded to their stories. And that's why I encourage people like, your story is not even for you, it's for other people. It's to give them hope when they're feeling hopeless. It's to be the light when they're in the darkness. It's to giving them faith when they feel like they have none left. And that's why it's important for people to share their story because it'll change the lives of the people who hear it.
That's right. Let's talk about what you said to me when I was struggling with, I don't want to do this, right? This is too hard. I can't do it, right? I'm getting too emotional. I'm getting this and I'm getting that. Do you remember the term that we came up with? Um, how you were able to tell me how I had to face my audience in order for me to get up there and do it. What was I supposed to be thinking in my mind? Do you remember?
I think there's a couple terms. I do remember one of them, and I don't know if this is the particular one you're referring to. Um, it's verbal CPR.
That's right.
It's being
That's the one.
able, because typically, CPR is for people who are, they can't breathe, or you have to bring them back to life. And that's the power of the spoken word on a stage to people is that your words have the ability to give life, to resuscitate someone who may feel like inside they're dying because they feel like they have to do all this by themselves and they have too much pain. No one understands. And that's why the person telling their story can really connect with them and give them that resuscitation in life to make them feel like they're alive again.
Right. And that was a switch in my brain, right? Because sometimes you only have 6 minutes, 7 minutes to speak on a stage and to transform an audience. And I couldn't get it through my head, right? Like, how am I supposed to do this? How? And you said, well, somebody, you've got to go into a room and you've only got this many minutes to do something. And then I wrote down that term, CPR. I do it all the time, unfortunately, right? Where I have to go in there and revive somebody for that many minutes. And it seems like forever when you're in there doing CPR. So, yes, you have plenty of time to be able to share something that's going to transform a room. I've seen it happen, I've been a part of that. So, amazing thing for a speaker to be able to do. So, what's next for Jesse Cruz? Like, what are the plans? What do you see for yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal, like a long term, we want to impact 1 billion lives through storytelling. So that's
Mm,
a thousand people this year, double that every single year into the end of my life. It's getting people to have the courage to share their story in a way that is honoring to their own story, but also gives hope and encouragement to other people. And so now it's providing platforms and experiences for people not only in the United States but internationally. Is to provide a safe space for people to be seen, to be heard, to be understood and connected through their story.
and where did the idea of Merge Worldwide come from? The name Merge Worldwide.
Well, because I'm not that smart. I don't really have any ideas. So my wife is the smart one, so
All
she
right,
she
get you
came
out
up
of
with
here.
the
Get
name.
Desiree back in here. No.
Yeah, Des, Marilyn wants you on the show. She says I don't know anything. Um, yeah, that's a name that she came up with. And I, when she came up with the name, and I was like, well, what is this name even about? Like, what does that even mean? And she's like, well, there's people who are always going in different directions and they feel like they have to be isolated or separated or divided. And the merge is to bring people together to keep them in alignment, heading into the same direction. And we're not just going to do that in one small region. We're going to do this all over the globe.
Amazing. It's always the wife.
I agree. I agree.
Desiree got you on your feet. She made you stay on track. She named your company.
She does it all, really. I don't really do much.
You just stand by and write it down.
Yeah. I just take her ideas, basically.
You take her ideas and claim them. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
what
much.
husbands do. That's what husbands
Yeah.
do. Absolutely. Now I understand you're not the only author in your family though. Who else is an author?
Yeah. So I recently wrote a book with my daughters back in November. So my daughters, Haley and Ryan, they're officially published authors, and now my
Look at
wife,
that.
she has her. My wife goes, "Hey, I was sick of being the only one in the family without a book." So she's got
She's
her
jealous.
book coming out. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So she's got her book coming out. I believe it'll be like the end of this month. So then it'll be all of us will have our own book. So really excited about it.
Amazing. Tell me about your daughter's book. What's the name of the book?
Yeah. So the name of that book is titled "Where Did My Love Go?" And it's a children's book written and designed to help families have conversations about loss and grief. A lot of times, children don't have the conversations with loss of a loved one until after they passed away. And adults typically don't want to talk to kids about, family members who passed away because it's awkward. So they don't use. I think you got to use direct language. You got to really be, let the kids know that this person, they're they have died and they're not coming back, right? And so sometimes I think adults tell kids these false things that aren't really true, and it leaves the kid confused, right? And so this book is a design for parents and children to dialogue about losing a loved one and the all the feelings and emotions that the adults may have and the children may have, and it's to kind of put it all out there for kids and adults to have an open conversation about what death means and how to heal from it and how to learn from it.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I think when I was doing another interview, one of the things that was brought up there was how much we don't involve the siblings when someone passes, right? We always talk about the parents' loss and how tragic that is, but we don't talk about the children who are experiencing the same loss. So I love that you guys took the initiative to do that. Whose idea was it?
It was something that I wanted to write, and then I was like, you know what, I want to do this with my kids. And because that I really believe in the importance of collaboration and empowering children especially women. I'm in a house full of women, and I want them all to be empowered and to
Mhm.
use their gifts and strengths to make this world better. And so I asked my kids, I said, listen, this is my idea. Do you want to be a part of it? And they both were like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I'm really proud of them.
That's awesome. And how can people get a hold of their book and your book?
Yeah, I mean, all our books are on Amazon.
On Amazon.
Amazon, or you can contact me directly, whether through email or contact me on Facebook, Jesse Cruz. Um, get a personalized copy.
And we'll get it signed by your daughters as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
They've been signing plenty of books, so they know the drill.
I know I missed my opportunity when we were all there together to have a personalized copy. So I have to get one. I have to get one 100% because I absolutely love this. So what about speaking? How do your daughters feel about what you guys do, what you do, and do you think they're going to follow in your footsteps?
So we absolutely love. I mean, they actually play a huge role at all of our events. They do a
Yeah,
lot of behind the scenes stuff. They help do a lot of setup, a lot of tear down. I mean, they really make the event what it is in a lot of ways. And so they love the event process. They love being in the room with inspiring individuals. Will they do it themselves? I have no idea. It remains to be seen. They've expressed interest, but as we know, kids change their mind daily. So I think they've told me 27 different professions they're going to be already. So I'm sure that number will change again tomorrow. But that's just part of the process. Like, I'm excited to see what God has in store for them.
and listen, I see a Merge Worldwide Children's Edition, Teen
Yeah,
Edition. That'd be awesome.
it would be. It would be.
Get it going, get it going. I think this is amazing, amazing. So, what would you advise someone who is just thinking about entering the speaker space? Is there any advice that you can give?
I mean, there's a couple of things that pop in my mind immediately. One is first, ask yourself why you want to speak. Well, I think some people, they just think speaking is cool or it's trending or everyone's doing it, so I should just do it. But just literally ask yourself why.
Good point.
What is the why do you want to get on that stage? You know what I mean? And really think long and hard about why you want to speak. And I think that'll be a great guide to how you approach it. And the next thing is have the right coach in your life who will hold you accountable to the goals that you want to achieve through that why in speaking. So it's making sure you have people in your life who want to pour into you, who want to keep you focused, keep you on track, keep you down the path of speaking in a way that honors your mission.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that. Jesse, this is the question that I ask all of my guests. How do you define success?
I usually I've heard this question and I usually give it in one word answer for this, but I'll expand upon it. So the first answer that comes to mind when someone asks me this question is progress. It's just that simple. Because people think, oh, I have to have this and this and this and this done. And that's not even true. Success ultimately is progress in the direction of the goal, whether that's small progress or big progress. If you are making progress of any sort, you are successful.
Amen. Thank you. That was very impactful. Thank you. Jesse, thank you for being a guest on my show. Viewers, if you're interested in speaking, look up Jesse Cruz. I tell you that he is phenomenal. As you can see, his energy is very calming. You're a very calming presence. I don't know about to your wife, but to the rest of us, you are amazing. This is a coach that you want to get in contact with. So thank you for coming on the show. And to my viewers, I will see you next time. Bye bye.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabrielle Morales, and I am a recruitment coordinator for Be the Match. My journey with Be the Match actually began when I was only 9 years old. At that point, my 7-month-old baby sister was diagnosed with an extremely rare form of leukemia. Through the Be the Match registry, we were able to find a matching donor for my sister. And although a few months later, we lost her, her cancer was cured. Our family is so thankful for the additional months that we had with my sister. And ever since then, I've made a promise to myself to dedicate my life to helping children just like Isabella and helping families like ours by continuing her legacy. Hence why I now work for Be the Match. I love what I do so much, and I'm able to spread awareness about the huge need for more donors on the registry, especially those of diverse backgrounds. There is currently a huge disparity within the registry for minority patients, and we need your help. It is so simple to save a life and to be put on the registry. You can visit izzy'slegacy.com or text Izzy's Legacy to the number 61474 to start the registration process to be on the Be the Match registry. So hopefully be a life-saving match for a searching patient in need.